Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Gardening. And with a new name, we've come up with a new exotic plant called the Hibiscus Mutabilis or Bettadavare. This is a native of China and is also commonly called the Confederate rose. And no, this has no direct symbolism associated with the American Confederacy, but is called Confederate mostly because it was largely found in the southern parts of the US where the Confederacy was at its peak. But since the word evokes a lot of bad memories, we will stick to calling it the Bettadavare, which in Kannada means the lotus of the hills. This plant belongs to the Malvaceae family, to which hibiscus, okra, cotton and other plants belong. This is a shrub if grown in the ground, but I'm growing this in a medium-sized container. This is primarily grown for its interesting blooms that actually change color as it ages. Though the bud can take a lot of time to bloom, the fascinating color change is worth the wait. The blooms start with a pale white or pink color in the morning, and by 4 o'clock or so, the white changes to a dark pink. And then in the evening, the color changes to a more crimson pink or red. This color change mostly is to attract a diverse range of pollinators. Sadly, the flowers don't last long, but if you have more buds, the successive blooms would be enough. The blooms don't have any fragrance and they're quite big in size. So let's look at some of its care and other details. Sunlight. This plant loves full sunlight and may also do well in a southwest balcony, but I will still give this full sun and nothing less. Watering. This is a very water-hungry plant and in summers you may have to water this twice even. The leaves become droopy very quickly. Soil media. Since this can dry out quickly, it's better you use a more water-retaining mix of 50% garden soil or any media which is a little clayey. 40% compost, 10% composted coco peat or sand would do. Pruning. This may need pruning now and then, so don't over prune, but if you see a stem that's dry, take it off. Also, this is a deciduous plant, so it may shed leaves, especially in colder climes. So don't be too worried if you see scanty leaves. In tropical warm zones, I think this would not shed its leaves as much. Pests and diseases. From a disease point of view, I have not experienced it thus far, but I think powdery mildew could be a common one, and you can use the neem oil pesticide to control that. But one thing that completely devastates these not so long-lasting blooms are the Japanese beetles. These annoying pests devour the blooms from the mallow family, and it also does not spare my other hibiscus blooms. You can physically remove these beetles and kill them or use the neem oil pesticide. But the neem oil is not very effective. So keep your garden very bird friendly because the birds love eating them. Another major problem is the scale insect. So if you see such pimple-like things on their stems, first thing you must do is to physically remove them and kill them before the infestation becomes too big to control. You can also apply neem oil pesticide, a video of which you can find above. If a stem with no leaves is infested, you can prune that part and discard it away from your garden. Also, I only see scales and these beetles when the plant is about to bloom. Propagation. The plant can be easily propagated with seeds, and to collect the seeds, the pod has to dry like this, and then you will get tiny seeds from it. They even self-seed and can be invasive in some parts of the world, so be very careful. They can be grown from cuttings as well. For seed propagation, just collect them and sow them in a well-draining soil mix and water and keep it in a part sun location, preferably the east. I had grown these two from seeds and it takes at least half a month to see results. To propagate this using cuttings, take a small size container with a well-draining media since you don't want the cutting to rot. Increase the ratio of sand or compost in the mix I told you earlier. Take a green cutting that is not too young nor too old and brown. You can remove some leaves and cut the leaves like this to help the plant conserve water. Insert the plant into the soil, ensuring the lowest node stays submerged within the soil. Water the cutting every day and keep this in a place where it gets the more subtle morning sun. Summer is the best time you must propagate this plant. The cutting method is better because you get a good established plant in no time. Fertilizer. So since this is a blooming plant, it does need a higher potassium fertilizer, so use banana peels, compost and tea leaves during the summer months. Blooming cycle. For me, this blooms majorly during the October month, so in tropical zones expect blooms around the summer to monsoon months until November. For colder zones, expect this to bloom during the summers. This plant is non-toxic. So folks, if uniqueness is what you want to see in your garden, then bring home the color-changing Mutabilis and add some extra colors to your life. And with this, we've come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Gardening, and I really hope you've enjoyed this particular program. Additionally, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. And always remember, to grow slow is to grow well. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, a very warm goodbye.